Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. Today's video is one of the most important credit conversations we're going to have because it's not about a small optimization or some quick hack. This is actually about a fundamental shift in how lenders will evaluate and decide who gets approved for credit going forward. For decades, credit decisions were driven almost entirely by your credit report, your credit score. So if your score was high enough, your report had no derogatory information, then you were generally approved. However, the system is currently changing at this time. So Fico, the company that produces your credit score and the one that's used in 90% of lending in the United States, has officially partnered with Plaid to launch a next generation credit scoring system that's going to incorporate real cash flow data from your bank accounts. Now, you guys know I talk about cash flow all the time when it comes to business. There's also a cash flow when it comes to your personal credit. This is not speculation. This is not a theory. This is a real announcement that was covered by Yahoo Finance and confirmed directly by Fico. And once you understand what this means, you'll realize that your credit score alone is no longer enough to guarantee approvals in 2026 and beyond that. So this video is going to make sure that you're not caught off guard. It's for educational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not personalized financial advice. My goal here is to just help you understand how the system works so you can position yourself intelligently inside of it once it gets pushed out everywhere. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So let's actually talk about what Fico and Plaid just announced. Fico announced that they have a formal partnership with Plaid to expand its UltraFico score by incorporating real-time cash flow data directly into the credit scoring process. Now, Plaid is a financial data network that connects consumer permission bank account information from thousands of financial institutions. So if you've ever had to connect your bank account to a finance app for verification, for funding, or for income verification, there's a strong chance that you have seen Plaid, or Plaid was involved behind the scenes in some way, form, or fashion. You guys know I talk about funding all the time, so most of us know exactly who Plaid is. Through this partnership, Fico can now use Plaid's data infrastructure to analyze how money actually moves through your bank accounts and incorporate that information into a credit score that lenders can use during underwriting. And this new version of UltraFico doesn't replace your traditional credit score, so I want to make that clear. Instead, it enhances it by adding a second layer of analysis that looks at real financial behavior rather than just your credit history alone. Think about it like this. We talk about no doc or no income verification. Basically, this would be moving everything to some sort of income verification and actually verifying that you have your income. Now, the result of that is a blended score that reflects both your credit performance, your cash flow stability, and this really does matter because historically, credit scores were based on a static data. When a lender pulled your report, they saw a snapshot of your account at a specific moment in time, and that was it. They saw balances, they saw utilization, payment history, account age, but they didn't see the numbers that evolved over time or how your day-to-day finances functioned outside of your credit accounts. That approach had limitations. Someone could appear financially strong on paper while actually in real life they could be struggling. Another person could manage their money responsibly but lack sufficient credit history to prove it, which could be like the flip side. So when you add cash flow data, lenders gain more of a complete picture. Now, instead of asking only whether you have paid your credit obligations on time, they can evaluate whether your income is consistent or whether your spending is controlled and whether your bank account behavior would suggest stability or stress. So this represents a shift from backwards looking credit evaluation to forward looking risk predictions. So I hope that makes sense. Now let's talk about the new UltraFico cash flow model and what it actually measures. Now, the enhanced UltraFico score combines traditional credit report data with banking data sourced through Plaid. Now, on the credit side, the score still evaluates payments, utilization, account age, credit mix, and all your recent activity that that's normal. Now, on the banking side, it evaluates cash flow patterns. So that includes how frequently deposits occur, whether income appears consistent, how much money flows in and out of your account, and whether balances remain stable throughout the month, and whether overdrafts or non-sufficient fund events ever occur. So rather than just looking at an isolated transaction, the system will analyze patterns over time, and this allows lenders to assess not just whether you have money, but whether your financial behavior is sustainable. Like in the future, can you continue along this path? So from a lender's perspective, the goal is not simply to approve borrowers. The goal is to approve borrowers who are likely to repay. Traditional credit scores only capture part of that risk. They only show whether you've paid debt in the past, but they do not show whether you are currently living paycheck to paycheck, whether you're relying on overdrafts, or you're struggling to maintain positive balances between pay periods. Cash flow data fills in those gaps. It allows lenders to identify early warning signs before missed payments ever occur or they appear on your credit report. It also allows them to recognize financially stable consumers who may not have deep credit histories yet. So again, I want to be objective because in a way, it can help you if you have good cash flow, but maybe a thin credit profile. While on the other hand, if you have a great credit profile, but maybe you're tight on cash flow right now, you may not be able to get approved. So if we're speaking objectively, this can help lenders reduce losses while also expanding access to credit for borrowers who do manage money responsibly. But let's talk about how this affects people with high credit scores. One of the most important points to understand is that a high credit score alone no longer means that you're likely to get approved. And if we're being honest, a high credit score didn't always mean that you would get approved for anything. You have to have an excellent FICO score, but you can still be viewed as risky if your behavior was erratic or if you took on too much debt. Now, your bank account behavior, if it shows instability, you may still get denied. Like frequent overdrafts or erratic spending patterns, inconsistent deposits, and chronically low balances can all raise red flags under a cash flow enhanced scoring model. So this doesn't actually mean that lenders are punishing people unfairly. It really just means that they're evaluating risk more holistically. Right? Because credit scores show you handle debt, cash flow behavior shows you handle money well. In the new system, both will matter. Now, let's discuss how this can benefit people with thin credit profiles because it does kind of work vice versa. While this shift will create new expectations, it'll also create new opportunities, and people with thin credit files or limited history or maybe even past issues may benefit significantly from strong cash flow behavior. So if you consistently earn income, manage your expenses responsibly, and you maintain a stable bank balance, that behavior could offset a lack of traditional credit data. This could be especially important for young consumers, renters, or anyone who may be avoiding credit, but they still manage finances very well. In this instance, the new model can actually be more inclusive than the old system. It just depends on how you look at it. Now, I want to clarify something that's very important. Legally, according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, income cannot be added onto a credit report. So let's get that understood right away. And Plaid does not share bank data without consumer permission. In order for cash flow data to be used in credit evaluation, you must opt in. So this means that you're not automatically exposing your bank history to lenders. However, like anything else, if you decide to opt out entirely, the same way if they ask you for documentation, you don't present it, it may limit your ability to actually benefit from one, enhanced scoring, especially if your cash flow behavior is strong and the decision becomes more strategic, but it'll also make it to where you may not get approved at all if they can't get this information. So if your banking behavior reflects stability, opting in may improve your chances of approval. And if it reflects instability, you may want to improve that behavior before granting access. The worst mistake that I think anybody can make right now is assuming these changes will somehow not affect you. Credit systems will evolve gradually and then they evolve suddenly. And by the time the denials start happening, it's already too late to prepare. So the smartest approach is to prepare right now. This means paying attention to not just your credit report, but to your bank account behavior. That means consistency will matter more than perfection. Stability matters now more than spikes. You want your financial life to look predictable and controlled. So here's my recommendation. Here's what I would do. As cash flow data becomes more relevant, it's wise to designate one primary bank account that reflects your best financial behavior. So this should be the account that receives your main income and covers your regular expenses. Ideally, this account does not experience any overdrafts, it maintains a reasonable balance, and it shows consistent deposits and consistent spending. And this account should become your financial profile that you expect lenders to evaluate to know that you have stable cash flow. Now, messy accounts with irregular activity or have overdrafts and stuff like that, they will create unnecessary risk. Now, I want to be clear, this does not involve you being wealthy. It just requires you being intentional. Small, consistent habits can have a larger impact than a large occasional deposit. The Fico and Plaid partnership is part of a larger trend towards behavioral underwriting. Credit scoring is becoming more dynamic, more data-driven, and more predictive. Over time, additional data sources may be incorporated, including rent payments, utilities, and subscription behavior. The future of credit is not about a single number, it's a complete financial profile, and those who understand this early will have a significant advantage. So guys, the most important part here is simple. Credit scores still matter, but they are no longer the entire story. Cash flow behavior now plays a meaningful role in how lenders evaluate risk and approve credit. This change is not coming in the distant future. You guys can actually look up this article, or better yet, I'll link it down in the description below so you can read it. It's already underway. This is already happening. So preparing now gives you control, and ignoring it creates uncertainty. Now, the credit system is evolving whether we like it or not. The question is not whether these changes will happen. The question is whether you're ready when they do. So by understanding how cash flow data fits into modern credit evaluation, you make smarter decisions today that protect access to credit tomorrow. If this information was helpful to you, then please subscribe to the channel. I want you to stay informed. I want you to stay intentional. And I want to make sure that the system sees stability when it looks at you. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and you have a wonderful day.